Latest on Tropical Storm Michael, which has formed in the Western Caribbean Sea with winds of 40 miles per hour, a pressure around 1004 millibars at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this October 7th. The storm is just off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, where tropical storm warnings are in effect. Here is its current location, and it's a stage 2 on the CDPS scale. A weak tropical storm at this time, but that is likely to go through the gears over the next few days as it enters the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, 102 miles from Cozumel, 115 from Punta Allen in Mexico, 145 from Cancun, 259 from Pinar del Rio in Cuba, and 443 from Key West, Florida. Around 760 miles from the New Orleans Mobile area as well. Tropical storm warnings in effect for these areas: Pinar del Rio and the Isle of Youth in Cuba, and Tulum to Cabo Catoche in Mexico, including Cozumel. And that is pretty much expected. No other warnings of any description at this time yet, but hurricane watches may be in effect later on tomorrow for the Gulf Coast of the United States. This storm is expected to become a hurricane, could even become a major hurricane over the next few days into the middle of next week as it strikes the US Gulf Coast. Still speculation on what strength it's going to be. Unfortunately, at this time of year, for systems like this, it can be a very tricky business in actually predicting how strong it will be, but what we do expect is that it will make landfall somewhere along the Bend area of Florida, or perhaps a little bit further west towards Pensacola, and could be a significant hurricane by then, with warm sea surface temperatures of 29 or even 30 degrees Celsius ahead of Michael right now, and we believe wind shear is fairly low as well. Low to moderate, you might want to argue. But this is over the next few days. You can look at the wind field there, the green areas denoting tropical storm force winds. This is the GFS model output, and you can see the yellows perhaps there, just about. That's hurricane status moving inland there and then towards the northeast. Unfortunately, by the looks of things, what's left of Michael by the time it makes landfall will end up in southern North Carolina once again, which is certainly the last thing that they need around this time. But unfortunately, that's what we're looking at on the current forecast. These are the chances of tropical storm force winds as it stands right now: 60% in Cancun, only 18 in New Orleans, 34 in Mobile, 43 in Pensacola, and 58 in Panama City. That's one of the early places that we're looking at for the potential landfall zone, but it's way too early to say where exactly it's going to strike, but that's just a small indication. Here's what the models are saying right now. You can see one or two outliers there, the HWRF and CTCX saying it could get to Category 4. That would be an opal situation, but most of the models having it much lower than that. There's what they think of the wind shear, low to moderate as said, maybe around moderate range there, about 20 knots or so. Sea surface temperatures aren't going to be an issue, and there you can see the track forecast anywhere from maybe even as far west as Mississippi if you take the HMON solution, and as far east, according to one of the other models there, I didn't quite catch it, just as far as Apalachicola perhaps. So this is what the storm is actually looking like in those recent frames. You can see how it's been developing, decent bursts of convection there, mainly on the southern side. The windiest part of the storm is most likely to be on the eastern side at this moment in time, and you can see quite a bit of dry air over there in the southern Gulf of Mexico. I wonder how that might affect this system, if at all. And it is pretty close to the coast of the Yucatan there. Land interaction probably won't be an issue, and we'll be watching this one very closely indeed. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com with the latest. You can also find our YouTube page. You're probably there already, but if not, subscribe if you haven't so far. You can also find our Facebook page, Force 13 all in text, and it's at Force 13 on Twitter if you'd like to get in touch with us on there. You can also help the project become even better by enjoying the benefits of patronage. You can find out more information about how to become a patron and what those benefits are at patreon.com/Force13. You can also add Force 13 on Skype and Fool 13 at extension 9094 on Discord for tropical weather chat.